we're still not in the spot where Knicks postseason. We're still not reacting to games necessarily. I'm not into the World Baseball Classic just yet. Probably next week when we do some episodes on Monday, maybe we'll react to Team USA, whatever happens there. We've had some fun with that. But, I'm just thinking bigger picture going into the baseball season. And one thing, it actually came up on SNY yesterday, and I thought, on the show Baseball Night in New York that I host, if you're not familiar with it, check it out. We have a great time, fun show. But it was a topic that our producer James Ward thought about, that's producing Badabooms. You should take lessons. And by the way, Badabooms, I have major bones to pick with you that we're going to get into today. Major issues that we got to get into. But before that, I wanted to discuss this topic that producer James Ward came up with. And it was, who needs a championship in New York more? Is it Aaron Judge or Juan Soto? And I think it's a fascinating discussion. And I'm going to try to have it by myself. I mean, we'll get Badabooms involved, but you know what I mean. So obviously, it's a good question because you can make an argument for either side. But I think the easier thing to think about is, well, it's Aaron Judge because Judge is older. He's been closer to the World Series with the Mets. We know Soto won one, but not with the Mets. I'm talking about in New York, so forget that for a second. Judge, being a Yankee and a great Yankee, needs to complete his legacy by winning a World Series, even if it's just one. Like, he's not going to need multiple like Jeter or Mo or Pettit or Bernie. He just needs at least one to have that ring and then say, okay, well, he was the A-Rod, whoever. He was the all-time greatest Yankee, in our generation, certainly. He's the best player that I've ever seen. I'm not going to say he's better than DiMaggio or Mantle or Ruth or Gehrig, all those guys. And maybe not even Jeter, but just physically, he's such a dominant player. So it's different to compare him with Jeter. But bottom line is, if you're a New York Yankee, you need that World Series ring to be considered a great Yankee. It's the one thing that's missing from him. He's got the home run records. He's got the MVPs. He's now had success in the postseason, where you've seen it last year, even the year before that with some big moments. Aaron Judge definitively needs a ring. However, I will make the argument that it's more imperative that Juan Soto, who was paid a ridiculous amount of money, like, let's get out of the Yankee bubble for a second when we're comparing these two. And that's why, again, I think it's a fun conversation. You can make legitimate cases for each side. But forget the Yankee bubble and how they're held to the highest standard, and it's the one thing missing for Aaron Judge. Soto was paid a ridiculous amount of money to come to the Mets, to leave the Yankees to come to the Mets. We know that. Ridiculous. Richest contract in sports. Juan Soto already has been a world champion somewhere else. Juan Soto was brought to the Mets to try to end a 40-year freaking drought. This is not 2009, which feels like a long time from the Yankees' perspective. This is 1986. That's 40 years ago. You know how long? It's a lifetime. A lifetime. And that's what Juan Soto's here for. And Juan Soto has been as dominant a player as we've seen since he burst into the league. Look at what he did in 2019 as a young kid in the postseason to help the Nationals go win a World Series. Look at the numbers that he's put up consistently since then. Whether it's New York, whether it's San Diego, it doesn't matter. First year with the Yankees, beast of a season. First year with the Mets, a historic season from a Mets perspective. Even in a quote-unquote down year, which many of us refer to it as a down year for Juan Soto, he still put up beastly numbers. The guy is just as dominant as you can possibly be. He talks about going after Ohtani, trying to win an MVP. Great. He may be the first Met ever to win an MVP. He should be for what they paid him. That should be the goal. Win MVPs, win World Series. So I don't think it's just as easy as, well, Judge is a Yankee, so we hold them to a higher standard. Well, no. Maybe that is true. But when Steve Cohen took over the Mets, the level of standard and expectation was raised significantly. In my mind, it's what it should always be. If you're a fan of a team, you always have the highest expectations. I'm not saying, is this in Pittsburgh or Kansas City? I'm not settling for, or St. Louis. Hey, good try. Hey, good try, guys. Get him next year. Hey, 80 wins, 82 wins. Hey, good try. No, that's not what this is about. It's about winning. And since Cohen took over for the Mets, the expectations were raised. The payroll was raised. The attitude, all that stuff changed. The results have not been there yet, but it's now year 2 of Juan Soto. And immediately following a very disappointing year 1 for the team as a whole, taking a step back from where they were in 2024 to where they were last year after adding the mega talent in Juan Soto, unacceptable. So what they do, they took a blowtorch to it. Make no mistake about it. Juan Soto is going to be under a tremendous amount of pressure to deliver. It shouldn't just be looked at, well, it's the Mets and it's less than. The Yankees and Judge are more important. It's more important that Judge, even though he's proven more, like Judge pound for pound versus Soto has done better things. And again, I know Soto's won a World Series, but look at the numbers, the historic numbers, the dominance that Judge is a man amongst boys at times playing a game. Where Soto's he's just a great player. Judge is one of the all-time greats ever. I know some of the Soto's numbers are saying all-time great as well. And don't get me wrong, like I love Soto, but Aaron Judge, it's not his fault that the Yankees have not won a World Series. And I know it's always going to be about him because he's the Yankee captain and leader and the great player. Well, now you just got to get that ring. Well, that expectation shouldn't be just for the Yankees. It should also be for the highest paid player in the sport, also a team in New York. Soto should be held to the same exact standards. Soto and the Mets should be held to the same exact standards that the mighty New York Yankees are. That's what the difference should be with the Mets organization after Steve Cohen and after getting Juan Soto. No more, well, it's the Mets and they're the B team in town and they haven't won in 40 years, so what's the difference if they don't win in another 45 or 50 years? No, that's all changed. So I will make the argument that while I understand the importance of Aaron Judge ending the Yankees drought since 2009. I mean, so far back, I can barely remember what I was doing in 2009. How dare they? It's not just about Judge ending that drought or cementing his legacy needing a ring, which really you don't need because it is overrated. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, but what, because Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl now, is he one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever live? He's not. We all know the truth. So Dan Marino doesn't have a ring and he's still a billion times better than Sam Darnold. So it's a narrative that we like to talk about in sports talk, need to fill a topic. Okay, we value the championships more than everything. If Aaron Judge doesn't win a ring, it's going to be disappointing because the Yankees are held to such a ridiculously high standard and because the dynasty that preceded him, it didn't do him any favors. If this were Don Mattingly's looked at a great Yankee, and a lot of people, instead of saying, well, Mattingly wasn't good enough because he didn't win a ring, it's more, oh, we feel bad for Donnie that he didn't get to experience the championship. Well, why is that? That's because he came pre the recent dynasty, Mattingly. And they were years removed from when the Yankees were the great Yankee dynasty. We're not talking about, the Ruth Gehrig and Mantle years, way before Mattingly. There was a down period in there. So Mattingly came, and then it was the sole individual that was great. Oh, we feel bad Donnie didn't get one. And then yet with Judge, it's not, oh, we feel bad Judge, he didn't get one. It's Judge better deliver one. Judge's greatness is not going to change one way or another. Juan Soto needs to deliver it. He was brought here to win a World Series for the Mets. He's brought here to help end the freaking drought. At some point, we got to, as much as I love 1986, at some point, we got to stop. 40 years, I mean, it was a 6-year-old kid. So I would say that it's more important for the guy that was brought here to the Mets on the richest contract in the history of sport, for a guy who's already won a World Series elsewhere, to try to end a 40-year drought. I think it's more imperative that happens than it is that Judge adds another ring to the Yankee mighty legacy, just so we could say, well, now he belongs with all the other great Yankees outside of Don Mattingly who have won a World Series. If Judge ends up as Mattingly, that's okay. Obviously, we don't want that to be the case from a Yankee fan perspective. You want to see him win, but it's not the worst thing in the world when you put up the numbers that Judge did, when you make the postseason as many times as you've seen Judge do, when he performs in the postseason. Not his fault. Maybe it's more a detriment to the Yankees and the way that they've operated here, not Judge. Soto has to deliver. Badabooms, you want to chime in on that? Hey, good to see you. We got a major bone to pick with you in a second.
Yeah, we'll get there in a second. This is a phenomenal topic, by the way.
The answer, can take it however you want.
For the way you just presented it, the answer is Soto, because of what you just said, and he was paid. Now, if you spin it just a little bit, I can see how this can get confusing. People are going to get confused, and it's got to be Judge. It's got to be Judge.
Well, you could take it any way you want. Take it any way you want.
I'll take it in the sense of first what you said. For what they brought Soto in to do, for who he is, for what they paid him for, Soto has to. For their careers and their legacy, there's no doubt Aaron Judge, it's more important for him. Soto's already won the World Championship, and he was, 20 years old, 21 years old?
19, I think.
Soto's just got really what he has to do for his legacy now is just not prove that it was the wrong decision to give him all the bag, to give him all this money. Aaron Judge is going to go down if this doesn't happen. I hope that's not the case. As well, he was great in the regular season. He was great for the Yankees when it didn't matter. I'm not talking about last year. Last year he had 500. Last year he was Aaron Judge in the playoffs. For his legacy and how he's remembered in New York, Aaron Judge has to win more.